The Sinking of the Titanic and Other Great Sea Disasters, edited by Logan Marshall. Chapters 2 and 3. The most sumptuous palace afloat, dimensions of the Titanic, capacity, provisions for the comfort and entertainment of passengers, mechanical equipment, the army of attendants required. The statistical record of the great ship has news value at this time. Early in 1908, officials of the White Star Company announced they would eclipse all previous records in shipbuilding with a vessel of staggering dimensions. The Titanic resulted. The keel of the ill-fated ship was laid in the summer of 1909 at the Harland and Wolff yards, Belfast. Lord Peary, considered one of the best authorities on shipbuilding in the world, was the designer. The Leviathan was launched on May 31, 1911, and was completed in February 1912 at a cost of $10 million. The Titanic, largest liner in commission, was a sister ship to the Olympic. The registered tonnage of each vessel is estimated as 45,000, but officers of the White Star Line say that the Titanic measured 45,328 tons. The Titanic was commanded by Captain E. J. Smith, the White Star Admiral, who had previously been on the Olympic. She was 882.5 long, or about 4 city blocks, and was 5,000 tons bigger than a battleship, twice as large as the dreadnought Delaware. Like her sister ship, the Olympic, the Titanic was a 4-funneled vessel and had 11 decks. The distance from the keel to the top of the funnels was 175 feet. She had an average speed of 21 knots. The Titanic could accommodate 2,500 passengers. The steamship was divided into numerous compartments, separated by 15 bulkheads. She was equipped with a gymnasium, swimming pool, hospital with operating room, and a grill and palm garden. Carried crew of 860. The registered tonnage was 45,000, and the displacement tonnage 66,000. She was capable of carrying 2,500 passengers, and the crew numbered 860. The largest plates employed in the hull were 36 feet long, weighing 43½ tons each, and the largest steel beam used was 92 feet long, the weight of this double beam being 4 tons. The rudder, which was operated electrically, weighed 100 tons. The anchors, 15½ tons each. The center turbine propeller, 22 tons, and each of the 2 wing propellers, 38 tons each. The after boss arms, from which were suspended the 3 propeller shafts, tipped the scales at 73½ tons, and the forward boss arms at 45 tons. Each link in the anchor chains weighed 175 pounds. There were more than 2,000 side lights and windows to light the public rooms and passenger cabins. Nothing was left to chance in the construction of the Titanic. 3 million rivets, weighing 1,200 tons, held the solid plates of steel together. To ensure stability in binding the heavy plates in the double bottom, 500,000 rivets, weighing about 270 tons, were used. All the plating of the hulls was riveted by hydraulic power, driving 7-ton riveting machines suspended from traveling cranes. The double bottom extended the full length of the vessel, varying from 5 feet 3 inches to 6 feet 3 inches in depth, and lent added strength to the hull. Most luxurious steamship. Not only was the Titanic the largest steamship afloat, but it was the most luxurious. Elaborately furnished cabins opened onto her 11 decks, and some of these decks were reserved as private promenades that were engaged with the best suites. One of these suites sold for $4,350 for the boat's maiden and only voyage. Suites similar, but which were without the private promenade decks, sold for $2,300. The Titanic differed in some respects from her sister ship. The Olympic has a lower promenade deck, but in the Titanic's case, the staterooms were brought out flush with the outside of the superstructure, and the rooms themselves made much larger. The sitting rooms of some of the suites on this deck were 15 by 15 feet. The restaurant was much larger than that of the Olympic, and it had a novelty in the shape of a private promenade deck on the starboard side, to be used exclusively by its patrons. Adjoining it was a reception room where hosts and hostesses could meet their guests. Two private promenades were connected with the two most luxurious suites on the ship. The suites were situated about amidships, one on either side of the vessel, and each was about 50 feet long. One of the suites comprised a sitting room, 2 bedrooms, and a bath. These private promenades were expensive luxuries. The cost figured out something like $40 a front foot for a 6 days voyage. They, with the suites to which they are attached, were the most expensive transatlantic accommodations yet offered. The engine room. The engine room was divided into 2 sections, one given to the reciprocating engines and the other to the turbines. There were 2 sets of the reciprocating kind, one working each of the wing propellers through a 4-cylinder triple expansion, direct acting inverted engine. Each set could generate 15,000 indicated horsepower at 75 revolutions a minute. The Parsons type turbine takes steam from the reciprocating engines, and by developing a horsepower of 16,000 at 165 revolutions a minute, works the third of the ship's propellers, the one directly under the rudder. Of the 4 funnels of the vessel, 3 were connected with the engine room, and the 4th or after funnel for ventilating the ship, including the gallery. Practically all of the space on the Titanic below the upper deck was occupied by steam-generating plants, coal bunkers, and propelling machinery. 8 of the 15 watertight compartments contained mechanical part of the vessel. There were, for instance, 24 double-end and 5 single-end boilers, each 16 feet 9 inches in diameter, the larger 20 feet long, and the smaller 11 feet 9 inches long. The larger boilers had 6 fires under each of them, and the smaller 3 furnaces. Coal was stored in a bunker space along the side of the ship, between the lower and middle decks, and was first shipped from there into bunkers running all the way across the vessel into the lowest part. One of the most interesting features of the vessel was the refrigerating plant, which comprised a huge ice-making and refrigerating machine, and a number of provision rooms on the after part of the lower and orlop decks. There were separate cold rooms for beef, mutton, poultry, game, fish, vegetables, fruit, butter, bacon, cheese, flowers, mineral water, wine, spirits, and champagne, all maintained at different temperatures most suitable to each. Perishable freight had a compartment of its own, also chilled by the plant.